So good afternoon everyone, my name is Calvin Jackson. I'm here with SIfu Louison, the second of a series of informal discussions, particularly around SIfu Louison's experience, knowledge and his school, Wing Chun art. Today we're talking about fighting, not so much specifically about Wing Chun as a technique and art, but how it applies to fighting, different concepts of fighting, and we're going to ask SIfu Louison some questions which have been raised by public and other teachers and other members of the school. So first of all, welcome SIfu Louison.
Thank you again for interviewing me. It's the second interview I'm doing, talking about fighting, or using Wing Chun concept to fight in a sort of given situation and give people the understanding and how you can use your fighting abilities to deal with different situations in life of martial arts.
That's great. So the world of Wing Chun is, we live in a world that's largely digital. YouTube, WhatsApp, there's so many videos out there saying what you can do in Wing Chun, what you can't. Let's first try and rule out what isn't fighting. Demonstration.
What isn't fighting?
Yeah.
Isn't fighting when two people are scared and don't collide with each other. You know, everyone decides what to do first and what not to do, anything like that. That's not this fight, that's fighting the mind. That's like saying, should I go forward, or don't go forward. That means you might be a bit apprehensive or you might be a bit scared to get into the fighting mode. Yes, so that's the idea of not fighting. Yeah, the fighting concept is that you interact with each other and fight to your best ability by using techniques that you may have or you may have learned in the past, and that's it.
That's good. Okay, so when we look at a lot of the videos of so-called Kung Fu experts or Wing Chun experts, there's a lot of demonstration on these videos. Is demonstration fighting?
Demonstration is not fighting. As you can see from my experience, when you demonstrate something, you're just showing someone how to do something through demonstration. But you're not really fighting because the person not fighting you, punch you by a forceful attack, biting you, grabbing you, rushing you. He's demonstrating. Okay, so demonstration is just a concept to show you what you can do. Doesn't mean you can do it in a real situation. Yeah. So therefore, you must understand that demonstration is demonstration. But it is impressive. It's nice to watch and see. It gives you some idea what you can do. Example. If you see a fight, a real fight, is that demonstration? No, that is a real fight. Because a person will do fight to his best ability and do something what he can do. Yes? Now you go to a school now, the teacher's going to show you how to practice on the dummy or how to do a technique. He's demonstrating what to do now on you. That's not real fighting.
Okay. So another famous Wing Chun concept that everyone believes is fighting. Let's work out whether or not this is fighting or is it not. Chi Sao. Is Chi Sao fighting? Well,
Chi Sao, from my experience, it's a way of studying. Okay, like I said a long time before, many of my videos in the past, that when you Chi Sao, define Chi Sao first, it's like two hands run together. Only Wing Chun family, but they do Chi Sao. No other styles call it Chi Sao because it's from a Wing Chun point of view. Example, you've got Tai Chi, we call pushing hands. That's from a Tai Chi point of view. You've got boxing, sparring, it's from a boxing point of view. So when you come to Chi Sao, it's a study of what Wing Chun people learn to train their arm for sensitivity, train their arm to do techniques on both sides, and to cooperate, how to practice with each other by training your two arms at one time.
But the most important thing is that Chi Sao is Wing Chun against Wing Chun.
Well, if you say Wing Chun against Wing Chun, then you're doing a study now. It's like you can play a game of chess, and I can't play it so well. You will always win, okay? So Chi Sao is like with my hands, with a game of chess, with techniques, movement, sensitivity, courage, everything. Many other points you must have in there. But when you start to do Chi Sao with some classmates, unfortunately, people practice to win, not to study. As a Chi Sao, it's a study concept. But if you practice to two people start doing Chi Sao, and one person tries to hit the person at any cost, it's not practicing no more. It literally is fighting. Indirectly, it's fighting. Okay, so therefore you come out to study now, you're literally fighting now.
Is this why some people practicing Chi Sao do end up fighting?
People practicing Chi Sao end up fighting because maybe not control, maybe not too sure what the person will do. And example, you might get two people practicing the way Chi Sao and from different schools. That person from one school, he wants to practice his movements. And the other person from the other school wants to practice his movement. They want to see what works and what doesn't work. Because they all learn from different teachers. Regardless, you've got the name Wing Chun, but they learn from different teachers. So therefore, when they come together, each person is going to try to practice their movements. But it's a tricky moment because if the person touch you soft, that person think you didn't hit him. If the person touch you hard, the other person can hit you hard again because you're hitting too hard. Okay? So you can change in tricky moment. So therefore, you try to practice with control. So if the person hits me with control, I say it's a good hit. If I hit him with control, it's a good hit. But sometimes it might get out of hand because they might fall into competition now of competitive when they fight each other. So then you come out the role of practicing now. You just go in the role of fighting. So you have to be really careful.
So Wing Chun teaches both sticky and Gorsao.
Yes.
But many schools out there, if you look at the videos, a lot of schools don't teach Gorsao. But yet still a lot of fights, I'd say 80 to 90% Gorsao. Yes. Why is this difficulty teaching Gorsao and Chisao, or teaching a Gorsao so difficult when Wing Chun is being applied to fighting?
Okay, the idea is you have to study. You study Chisao, you know, and some people call it pawn style with different movements. The idea of Chisao is technical. It's like having a ring, a ball, with different lines coming out of it, with different techniques. Yeah? Now you might have a ball with no techniques coming out of it. That means you've just got a ball that's going in a circle. But you've got a ball, we've got lines coming out of the circle. These are paths of movements and techniques. Okay? Now, when you come to sticky, that's the concept of sticky. That means that someone grab onto you and you control his arms and his body. So sticking people with the arms and the body.
So you're in contact with somebody.
You're in contact with somebody. But if you come in Gorsao, it's like someone throw a punch out towards you, you want to catch it or redirect it or destroy it. That's completely different again. Okay? Like a boxer, most of the boxers will do Gorsao because they're trying to punch you, hit the head and the body. Okay? It's not much sticky in boxing. Unless they get to close head together, body together, and therefore the referee depart them and start again. Back in Gorsao again. So you have two ways of playing Wing Chun, Gorsao, sticky Gorsao, and Gorsao, and sticky. So
sticky Gorsao is limited contact.
Limited contact.
Okay.
Yeah, because sticky Gorsao means one arm. Gorsao means two arms come together, and sticky means you control the whole body and the whole arms, everything like that. So you have to learn this study. But if you play with somebody and they don't know how to roll hands, and they want to spar with you, you have gone into Gorsao. Yes? If you play with someone who knows how to wrestle, you have gone to sticky. You see? So Wing Chun has all the components, certain things have to practice, but how you practice them and bring them out. And the idea is you can hold up to somebody in sticky, but you have no technique. You can fight someone in Gorsao, there's punch, 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 but no technique. There's punching technique, that's it. Yeah? And you have one arm coming off each other, that's also limited techniques again. So it depends on what knowledge you know.
So you take a typical fight situation where it's going to be two people arguing or two people cursing, or one person may grab the other person to try to bring him down. That's sticky. Most fights start with someone swinging a punch, and they end very quickly with people throwing multiple punches. So is it deception, therefore, that a lot of the Wing Chun videos that we see out there don't teach Gorsao?
You can't say, I can't say they don't teach it or do teach it. I can only see what I see. Example, you can tell me you're going to punch me here, and or I'm going to block it. We are talking it, we're not fighting it. Now, we didn't know how much force, where you're going to punch me, the top, the bottom, or the middle. So therefore, when you do an action, you try to find out, if you know lines, you know how to practice many lines before, and something comes towards you, your body will get familiar with a certain lines. But you never experienced it before, your body will go into shock and freeze, and don't know what to do. So therefore, when you see people fighting with each other, it's only because the body, and they do certain things. Example, you might try and grab me, because you ain't got enough techniques to punch, or to move, or whatever. So you go to grab it. But now you get a skilled person who knows how to grab with techniques, it's a different story again. So grabbing is also good, yes, but grabbing with techniques. Sparring or punching is also good, but with techniques. With techniques. And that's the difference. So it's like if the person comes and wants to fight someone, and I only know 2 techniques, and he knows 10 techniques, he should have the advantage of me. But if he has 10 techniques, and I have 2 techniques, and he's scared of me, I've got the advantage now, but I'm not scared of him.
Okay, very well put. So next round of questions, next 3 or 4 questions I want to ask is being put to me by someone asked me to ask you this specifically.
Okay.
And there's 3 questions I want to ask you specifically. It's about Wing Chun versus anything else.
Yes.
And I'd like to understand your understanding or how you see these 3 points. The first question: why do people only teach Wing Chun versus Wing Chun? If Wing Chun is designed to teach you to fight anything out there, why do people only teach in the class Wing Chun to fight Wing Chun?
Okay, It's like going to a gym, okay? A gym you go to does only boxing. A gym you go to does only Tai Chi. And a gym you go to does mixed martial arts, okay? Now, you can only do what you know, but can your technique be sufficient to do something else or don't do something else, what you do?
Correct, but if you're not taught it, how are you going to know it?
Now, really, personally, the person when does any sort of martial arts should cover all these points, okay? I don't teach Wing Chun to fight Wing Chun. I teach Wing Chun for us to study each other to keep our Wing Chun.
Ah, that's the important point, is to study to learn, to keep, maintain, develop.
That's
but you're teaching techniques to deal with anything.
But teach technique doing everything.
Okay.
Like I said, as an example, 2 Wing Chun people are practicing in their class. Yeah, someone comes in and say, I want to do a little spar with you guys to see what it's like. Now, the guy that does no Wing Chun, can your Wing Chun now deal with him or not? You see? But therefore, have your teacher taught you to practice your Wing Chun to deal with other things apart from Wing Chun?
Looking at the videos, I mean, I'm comparing a lot to the videos that we see on YouTube typically. It's always Wing Chun versus Wing Chun.
Yes. And
always about Wing Chun failures in the ring or MMA.
Yes.
You don't see anyone saying a good video about Wing Chun fighting any application.
That is true, but if the person who does Wing Chun very well and won all these fights, the Wing Chun will be famous again. They say Wing Chun is sufficient enough to do with everybody else.
Yeah, it's true.
But if the person doing Wing Chun not really high level and not a good standard, and he loses all the time, people will say Wing Chun is not really good. So you have to go by the levels of knowledge of the person what he has. Yeah. So if you go and fight someone with a little knowledge of Wing Chun, and you fight someone who does mixed martial arts or something like that, and you can't deal with him, you can say that he lost by lack of knowledge.
Okay, so the next question brings us on to your personal experience. In your 40 years plus of Wing Chun, did you train and learn and spar with many different martial arts?
Yeah, a long time ago I trained and sparred all different kind of styles before. So me, I'm not very too heroic, so I train that way. I train and fight boxers, I try and fight animal style, people who do jiu-jitsu, people who do ground fighting. I spar with them already. So I've got an idea how things can be from my experience.
And in your experience, sparring is a controlled way of practicing your techniques with someone without hurting them. But have you fought a lot with people in class who were not Wing Chun versus Wing Chun?
Yes, I've also fought with people who are not Wing Chun. And sometimes it finishes really quickly. You know, sometimes if you play with 2 people who know martial arts, so you've got a friend who does another style, and you say, let's have a little spar. Now, if you hit him or you control him, he will know that you've been hit. Yeah. If you touch him and take him soft, he might say, no, I ain't been hit. I need to get a full hit to register that I know I've been hit. It depends who you're playing with. Yeah. And then if you play Wing Chun with someone who don't know Wing Chun and rush you and put you on the ground, it just means he smothered you, but you didn't know how to overcome the smothering. Yes. That could be judo, jiu-jitsu, things like that. And then you can lose again. It all depends about knowledge, what you know. But like I said, the way I teach, I cover all the aspects of situations. So therefore, my guys won't get stuck. Yeah. So when you see Wing Chun in the school, we are practicing, we're not fighting each other. I emphasize that. Yes. Other schools might train completely different, but the way I teach and the way I train, people, my class students, do not fight each other. They're practicing to each other. But if someone comes in and wants to touch it and want to have a try, therefore it's a different ball game again.
Practice on it.
Yes.
Okay. So one of your mantras, one of the things you teach in Wing Chun are that an arm is an arm. So how do you teach someone with Wing Chun to fight at any arm without having a boxer or an aikido or judo expert in your class? Okay.
Because I've got this experience of, I had my friends who are professional boxers in the past, a long time ago, 30 years ago. I had some of my friends who do animal styles, tiger, crane and things like that. I had my friends who are the champion of jiu-jitsu, things like that, or not some jiu-jitsu, but also judo, you know. So I had this experience at a very young age. And through my experience, I can know how to do certain things. And that's what it is really. So after fighting comes by experience. If you fought someone for the first time and you lost, you will learn from it. If you win or lose, you will learn from it as experience. Yes. So sometimes you might teach people martial arts and you teach them techniques, but they're scared to go in. The courage is not there. Okay, so therefore you have to teach them courage. Then you might teach a person who's really got strong fighting abilities, courage, but he has no technique. He's going in there blind like a bull. Okay? But if he goes in blind like a bull and wins all these fights, he's fighting people who have no techniques or people who are scared of him. And that's it, really.
So it makes me ask a slight question off the record. It's not rehearsed, this question. It's, you know, a lot of Wing Chun teachers, if a student goes to a school to learn Wing Chun to defend himself or fight, then what you're basically saying is it depends on the ability of that person. Have they fought, or have they been in a position where they defend themselves? The Wing Chun is the structure, the forms. But how do you know that teacher has that experience of fighting to teach you how to defend yourself or fight?
Well, this is a tricky one, because you won't know unless most people go to people to learn from him because of a reputation, or they heard that he fought someone, or they've seen him practicing, or seen him or doing something. So it's like by a car. You know the car is good, and then you get the write up at the car. Someone talks about the car, and then you go and buy it. You see, Wing Chun's the same. You try to find out about the person, who he learned from. Is sufficient what you can do. They should just talk about it, or you can do it. You know, so people will do shopping and question certain things and ask questions about certain things. So, and you come to my school, you say, what is my school about? I say, my school was about techniques. But you might say to me, oh, do you do any running or weight training? I said, I don't do nothing like that. But there are some schools who've got everything: weight training, running, skipping, some boxing. My school is completely different. It's just pure Wing Chun techniques.
Pure Wing Chun.
That's it.
Okay, next questions are around self-defense. Some people say Wing Chun is a fighting style, some people say it's an attacking style, defending style. But let's deal with the concept of self-defense.
Okay.
So, you now learn Wing Chun, you're skilled, you can perform a technique in a given situation. This is more focusing on the art of fighting. How far do you go in defending yourself?
You can defend yourself, depends on the situation. You know, sometimes you might say, "Oh, I might throw an arm at you, or a leg, or a head."
So you break it, you pull, you poke, you grab.
Depends on the situation.
How far do you go?
If the person, the most important thing is to control him. Don't overkill him. Don't break nothing at all. You know. Now, if you're on the outside on the streets or somewhere on the road, thing like that, someone coming with objects, a knife or a pole, then it's a different ball game again. In the class, you're practicing. You're not really fighting in the class, really. You're literally practicing. But you can practice in the class, and then when you go outside anywhere, you might go to the club, you might be in the bus stop, you might be outside in the office, you might be anywhere. You're fighting. Yeah, it's just the environment is different. Okay, so you can't really do it in the class. You might not do it outside in a different environment. So we try to make sure close to reality in the class, but the way it's different is now is the environment is different, the location is different.
So you teach them to be measured. You're out in the street, someone tries to pick your pocket or attack you.
Yes.
Don't destroy them completely.
No, don't destroy them completely.
Just go as far as you need to control the situation.
Just do the sense of self-defense, to defend yourself to what you need.
Okay. When I first came to your school, I asked you about grading and belts.
Yes.
And you said that's a Western concept. There's no such thing as grading and belts. And you pointed to the tape on the floor, and you said, stand in that square, don't move outside, defend yourself against 2 or 3 people, and you can have whatever belt you want.
Yes.
And I'll never forget that saying. So how far should you go in defending yourself against multiple attackers?
Well, now, first of all, we say, can you defend yourself for one person first? If you can, you've got a chance for 2 and 3.
Does it change though with 2 or 3? Do you have to be more severe?
Not really. It depends on who comes to you first, and depends on the angles. It's many certain scenarios. Maybe you can't fight one person. For example, someone fought one person and he lost his fight. He got one person. Now we've got 2 more people there. Now he lost it with one person. Do you think you can handle 3 people? No. But maybe he won the first one person. Then we fought another person and another person, and let's see how you know can you fight more than one person or not. Okay.
So let's deal with a lot of young men out there, young men and girls that suffer a lot of knife attacks. Someone's now coming to harm you.
Yes.
How far do you go yourself? Do you go now and defend yourself?
It depends on the situation again. When people say knife attack, you look at the beginning. There's the beginning, middle, and the end. Did it start off with you talking, shouting? Did it come out randomly? Someone just come up to you and stab you? It's different, you know. So you have to look at the situation, the scenario. We say when you go out, be visual, make sure you see everything around you, so no one can't approach you, because there's too many people on the street right now. So just be visual when you're going out. But then you meet someone and you're crewing something in a shop, and the person was before you and you didn't know that. And you get upset, said, I was before you, and you said, oh sorry, but he wasn't arguing with you. Yeah? And you just try to calm the situation down. And that's it really. See? So, but suddenly he's not calm, and he wants to start to get, I can put it, really frustrated and want to attack you, and then he rush you. Therefore, you have to do something. You've got two choices. You can control him, by hitting him. You can control him by mobilizing him, or you can control him by sticking back so he doesn't touch you.
I mean, there's a problem I see with the law and how far you go, because the law says, did you use necessary or unnecessary force?
Yes.
Unnecessary force.
Yes.
So now you're skilled. You've trained in Wing Chun. You've learned it for 5-10 years.
Yes.
Someone comes to attack you with a knife. You break 6-7 bones, 2 arms,
Yes.
2 legs, and they say you use unnecessary force. You say no, I defended myself.
Yes.
That's the big question. How far do you go?
Because the court is different. It's funny. You have two choices. Now, say you stab you, now you're in hospital.
That's what we see out there.
Yeah, then the court can't say anything. You're in hospital, you're being stabbed. Now he tries to stab you, and you mobilise him, and you break his arm or break his leg. Yes, I think that'd be fair. Yes, but they might turn and say you overkilled.
Because your skills.
So it doesn't make sense to me. How can you overkill someone when someone's trying to kill you, got object, a knife in his arm? He's the one going to kill you. You've got empty hand. Yeah, so you defend yourself. So therefore, sometimes you have to have a good lawyer, put your case across to the best you can, and see then can you get off.
So I wonder how many people in Wing Chun schools out there undertake a course or learn from someone and don't understand these concepts, or are not taught these concepts of when or how to apply what they learn.
The idea, look, the most important thing that when you go to a martial arts school, you presume that you're going to learn these things. Okay, the teacher will look after you. That's his goal, is to look after you, make sure you don't get hurt. Okay, and these things you learn, you won't learn it in one lesson. And people are not very silly if you can learn anything in one lesson. This takes time.
It's a fast food Wing Chun.
Yeah, fast
6
food.
months is the food.
Yes, it takes time. So you have to be patient. You always tell people, try to stay out of trouble. Try to learn some martial arts. Go to school, go home, go to work, go home. But you hang on the streets for a very long time, 8 hours, 7 hours. The possibility you can get someone to approach you, and you're a street person.
That's your character. Your character and your conduct. Put you in trouble.
Yeah, but if you've done martial art, when I first started martial arts, about 40 years ago, the first 5 years I didn't see nobody. I was always in the gym, training. I was in the street before that, but after I learned martial arts, I didn't see nobody because I'm training, and then I'm training, going to college or going to work. So I didn't really see nobody at all.
So you change your character.
So you change your character, yeah.
Okay, next question. If you're in a situation where someone comes to attack or fight you, and you don't believe you're in harm, is walking away using Wing Chun? You teach people to walk away.
Yes, the idea in the Wing Chun and the martial art is common sense. Okay, if you need to walk, the idea, the last thing you want to do is fight. So if I have to walk away from somewhere, I walk away somewhere. But the person is still chasing me or still trying to entice me or trying to hurt me, like that. Therefore, I've got to defend myself. That's what it's called self-defense. Okay, the person is still coming.
Okay.
But if you're going to diffuse the situation and talk to the person, calm them down, and say, okay, that is the best way. Okay.
Walking away is not being cowardice.
It's not being coward.
It's not the opposite of courage. It's
no.
not walking away.
It's being, but sometimes you can't walk away. It depends on the situation you're in. Okay.
Okay. So they say a fight starts before you connect with someone, either in also or physically or sticky. The fight starts. What starts the fight?
The fight can start by someone looking at you. The fight can start by someone approaching you. Yeah. You see? So if you're approaching me, I can say to you, excuse me, do I know you? Yeah. Because I don't know why you're approaching me. They say, no, I think you're someone else. And that's done. Yeah. But the fight can start, you'll be walking, and say you beat someone up. Yeah. And you're walking, mind your own business, suddenly someone rushes up to you and punches you in your head. And you didn't see it coming. I don't care how good you are or not, you didn't see it coming, so you couldn't stop it. And he knocked you down. And then he beat you up. You said, why did he beat you up? Because you hit my brother. Yeah? Yeah. You did. If you saw it coming, maybe you had a chance to stop him. But you didn't see him coming. Don't care martial art, you know martial art or not. You didn't see him coming.
So how do you teach someone that a fight starts before you actually connect, when you've got forms, dummy, knife, weapons?
Okay, you have to teach
patience, is that the observation?
Observation, awareness. Okay, example, you might be sitting down and I throw a ball at you. You will sense the ball coming towards you, so you can catch it or direct it to one way or move it away.
So you're saying sensitivity is not just a physical thing?
No.
Sensitivity means being aware of your surroundings, people's intent,
That's it.
people's actions around you.
Yeah. Sensitivity by verbally, if someone talking to you and get angry, you can sense it getting angry, you can sense it. Sensitivity by someone throwing something at you, yeah, you can feel it come towards you. You know, you might sitting down and someone throws something towards you at the side, and you feel it and you catch it or you move. That is also sensitivity. Then you've got sensitivity by touch, when someone grabs you and tries to hit you or punch you or bite you. That is also sensitivity. So sensitivity, different levels of martial arts. Yeah.
A lot of videos you see, a lot of teaching out there, they teach you sensitivity by technique.
Yes.
And movement. But they don't teach the real full concepts of sensitivity.
No. Even in Corso, it's sensitivity. If someone punches you, you can sense it.
Before they can.
Before they connect, you might even freeze and the punch get towards your body. But if you see the hand come towards you in the air and you can direct it or destroy it or pull it, yes, that's technical. If you can do that. If you can do that. But like I said, the bottom line comes down to technical fighting. Yes? Okay.
Wing Chun, 3 forms or 6 forms. Dummy, knife, pole, and Uji, Sien Tao, Chi, all the different forms. No one seems to teach about energy, size, speed, but yet still these things seem to be the most important considerations if someone's trying to fight you. Someone comes to fight you and they're 6'2" and you're 4'1", and they're 220 pounds and you're 100 pounds. The technique's not going to be the same, but no one seems to teach that side of size, energy, and speed with Wing Chun when it comes to fighting.
Okay.
Why? Or how do you teach it?
I will teach because I know it. I know how to teach it. The bottom line is, if you know how to teach it, you can teach it. If you don't know how to teach it, you can only teach what you know. So, example, you might come to me and you're a big guy and you've got longer reach. Yes, I know how to deal with you. Yeah, but you might get another teacher and he doesn't know how to deal with you. Or the person is very strong and he's so powerful, but you don't know how to direct his force or destroy his force. So you might end up running, yeah, or you might end up holding for their life. The bottom line comes down to what you know. Talk about something and doing something is 2 different things. Reading something and doing something is 2 different things. So first of all, I encourage my guys that I teach to understand what they're doing and then implement it close to reality as possible. Okay. Sometimes we might get a person just rush you and try to bite you. See, can you sense him biting you or not? Or he might try and grab your groin. See, can you sense it? He might try and grab your eye, put your finger in your eye. Can you sense it? What you can't sense, you can't stop. Don't care how good you are. But if you can sense it and you've got techniques to deal with the situation, you've got a chance. That's why people go and learn self-defense. So do you think a person learns self-defense and the person don't do self-defense, it's the same? It's not the same. Okay? So you fight in school, when you're young, you fight in school, and then you start to learn self-defense, you are not the same fighter no more, because now you learn that art form.
You've got some skills and knowledge.
You've got some skills and knowledge. Yeah.
Okay, let's dispel another myth about Wing Chun, particularly about the butterfly knives and the pole.
Yes.
Does Wing Chun teach you to fight with a pole and fight with knives?
Well,
someone's asked me to ask that specifically.
Good. Now,
because you see people training in this form, you see them fighting each other with knives.
The concept is, can you put the pole in your arms and can you put the knife concept in your arms? Or are you just going to perform the pole or perform the knife? 2 different things.
So the question was, are you actually teaching someone to take 2 knives out and to fight and defend himself with 2 knives or a pole?
Now when you press the 2 knives, the butterfly, you can't be knife on the street. Okay, you get arrested. But you can take the concept of the knife and put it in your arms and you use the knives, the concept. Okay, so it's up to the person, the teacher, to teach their students the concept of the knife, put in your arms, so therefore you can use it outside. But you really can't go out with 2 big knives and a big long pole and walk in the street and want to fight someone.
And so you defend yourself.
Yeah, defend yourself.
This is all in the movies.
Yeah, this is the movies. If you go to the street, you get arrested. You've got 2 big knives walking the street. Okay, so you put the concept of the knives in your arms. Now, maybe at old times, you see the old time movies. When you find weaponry, they find a long pole or spear or 3-second staffs and things like that. This is a movie where they're practicing any sort of skills with weaponries.
Okay, so now we've got one of the biggest crimes out there is knife crime.
Yes.
So you're walking to the gym, you've got your barchandos on you. Yeah. Someone presents a knife to you. Can you defend yourself with a knife because you know knife form?
Well, I can defend myself with a knife. Example, say I've got my knife butterfly on me, and I took it out, you got your little knife. What are you going to do? You'll run. When you see a big knife like that, you've got a little pen knife, you will run straight.
Well, you lose a blood. It was just...
Doesn't matter.
You won't
know it's blunt. All you see is a big blade.
Yeah, it's true.
Okay?
It's true.
If you've got a little knife, you don't know how sharp it is or not, but you know it's a knife. So you'd be surprised how the brain changes while fighting. When you see an object, a knife or something like that, it changes. Now, if you know how to deal with a situation like that, you can deal with it. If you don't know how to deal with a situation, you run away from it. Yeah? So sometimes people do style, it's a pure knife fighting. Yeah? In some countries, a very lot of people have a lot of knives. Yeah? But here, it might say the youngsters have knives, because maybe in the gang, maybe they're going to be mugged or things like that. You don't really find big men, old men having knives as such. Yeah, they're going to work, do their own thing like that.
The most important thing is that the knife teaches you techniques to put into your hands.
That's it. Yes. You put the knife concept into your arms.
Someone's asked me to ask you this question specifically. There's seems to be a resurgence or interest in rattan rings.
Rattan rings, okay.
Does rattan rings train you to fight?
Rattan is just a study.
Very beautiful.
Yes, it's very beautiful, but just a study.
Yeah.
Okay, example, I'll give you an example. To hold a rattan ring, you can put some energy here, and you've got to rotate. Therefore, your energy is going out to hold it. Yeah. Now you can only do that, but you'd be like a robot, stiff, because you're like a robot. Wing Chun's not like a robot. Wing Chun it moves like a river, like a stream. That's the Wing Chun should move. Go all different directions. But if you just go like rattan in one direction, and rotating, you're limited to certain things. It's a good concept, but it's limited to what it can do.
And it doesn't teach you to fight, most important.
No, it's just in your concept actually. Maybe from Wing Chun point of view, roll your hands that way. Because there's many ways how to roll hands in Chi-Sao. Yeah, but they roll hands that way. If they'll do it that way, that's the way they do it. But you might come across another Wing Chun person who does things completely different, and they might give you a hard time, or you might give them a hard time.
Sometimes you see the videos where people have got the rattan rings, it's very theatrical, they're doing techniques inside the ring, and they make it look good.
They always make it look good, because it might be to show, you know, it's fair television.
It's not TV to fight. Okay, here's an interesting question. For the 108 techniques that are taught on the dummy form, teach you to fight.
Dummy form, you've got to be really careful. It will teach you position. It won't teach you to fight because it's not fighting you. It's in one spot.
Because it's not moving.
It's not moving.
But when you teach dummy, you teach that dummy is Gorsal, sticky, and that it is
that's it.
A live arm.
Okay. Because dummy is also Gorsal, sticky, and sticky Gorsal. When you hit the dummy, example, you might hit the dummy one arm against one arm. You might be in sticky like Danchi, or you might be in Gorsal, sticky Gorsal. If you hit the dummy and you hit one after each other, you might be going into Gorsal. So when people say, if you just hit the dummy and going through I can put it, the alphabet of the dummy, you're just getting positioning, but you're not really knowing how to use it yet. You're just learning how to position your arms in situation, and that's it. But a dummy doesn't go forward, or go backwards, or go sideways. It stays in one spot.
So we can categorically tell those people, all those videos out there of people hitting the dummy 100 miles an hour, left, right, and centre, it's not teaching you to fight. Not
really, because you can hit the dummy 100 very, very fast, really aggressive, but the dummy's not hitting you back. It's just the arm is not pushing out and going to shoot in front of you. It's going to be the same distance. So therefore, you must understand, it's a practicing tool. It's not a tool to teach you how to fight.
Understand.
So the best one is the person who's the live dummy will teach you how to fight. But so people might fight on the dummy, fitly fight on the dummy. When they get a live person, they have trouble because now it's a live person who's hitting back.
Okay, next question was from another member of your class, and it was about character. And the question is quite straightforward. Should you want to fight over pride, hubris and honour? i.e. someone insults your mum, or your brother or your sister, should you fight?
If someone insults your mum, okay, verbally, now, it's how you would take it. If someone insults my mum, and they say something to my mum, I would reply and say, your mum too. Simple as that. Because this is only verbal, yes? But some people, you might insult someone's mum, and they're going to try and fight you physically. That means you have started it. You have started the fight because you want to start it. So what I did, I entice you by talking about your mother, or talking about your brother or your sister, knowing that you can get upset, and knowing you're going to throw a punch towards me. Then I can start it. I started verbally.
But you wouldn't attack someone or respond physically because...
Not really, because he might try to pull me in.
Okay.
So I said, he talked about mother and things like that. I said, oh, your mother too, or your brother too, the same. And that's it, and leave it as that. Because it's not going nowhere. But if he wants to hit me, attack me physically, it's a different ball game. But like I said, people will start fight differently, by verbal first. Example at school, and someone will chant and say, yeah, hit him. Two people are facing each other. No one's a hit. But because you get the people chanting, hit, eventually one of them will hit.
And it will start.
And it will start.
So they'll be cheered up by the crowd.
No, you understand that. Yeah.
Okay. I think you like this question here. If you're on a train, someone's picked your pocket, and you've caught them in the act.
Yes.
Should you give them a beating?
I'll look at the scenario.
Yeah.
If I know you picked my pocket, and you took the object out of my pocket and put it in your pocket, then I will beat you. Because I've got proof that you took something from my pocket. But if you done an act and I caught you halfway and you didn't take the things out of my pocket and I beat you, it's wrong, because someone can say you just hit him with no evidence at all. So unfortunately, I will wait till he extract something from my pocket, put it in his pocket, then confront him and say, give it my stuff or whatever, give it to me nicely, get to me. If not, I will be forced to get off him.
So if you was on a train and you saw someone in the process of picking someone else's pocket,
yes,
would you give him a beating?
No, if I saw someone picking up my pocket, I will stop him. I said, be careful, he's trying to pick your pocket.
Okay.
Yeah, but if you pick my pocket, I let him pick my pocket, for example, I'll give you a beating because you shouldn't be picking people's pockets. But I've got to let you extract it out of my pocket first, like I said.
So you get to that stage.
So I could get to that stage.
Okay. Another situation, quite common out there. Should you fight or engage with someone who's clearly very mentally ill?
No. If he's mentally ill, let's try to control him.
Control him.
To your best of your ability. Let's try to control him. He's mentally, he doesn't know what he's doing. Let the police come and take him away from that.
But sometimes a lot of people have been in situations where they're fighting someone who's mentally ill and lost their life.
How
far do you go? How far do you
Then we have to say at the beginning, how do you know, how did it start in the first place? That means, example, one time I was walking down the street and I see about 20 foot away, and I see a mad guy walking like a mad. And he's coming towards me. I'm watching. But I said, if he jumps at me, I'm going to control him. Or he can walk past me. So I prepare myself for it. You see?
So what about the student who's not as skillful as you? I mean, he can't control him as much. Should we give him a beating?
Now, if the student is not...
Yeah,
the person who's practicing will only do what he can do.
Ah.
You can't compare a skillful person who is not a skillful person to the same. You can't compare a blind man and the person who can see are the same. You know, so you only go by the abilities, what you have, what you can do. So if my student was playing with someone and they lost a fight, and I said, yeah, you haven't learned enough. And I said, how did the fight go? He did this, did that. I said, you lost because you didn't know this, you didn't know that. That's all. Yeah. So you only go by your abilities. But when something happens for real, you do your best. Okay? If you know more knowledge than anybody else and you can overcome certain things, you're okay. It's good.
Next question, I wasn't going to put it in here, but I'm going to ask you. Ask you to think about it first, and we can come back to it later.
Okay.
And it's a situation that too many, particularly black youths, face out in the streets. So you're harassed and being picked on by the police, and you're being bullied and being beaten by the police. How far should you go in defending yourself?
Well,
think about that one first.
You have to think about it because
because you're now dealing with the law. And you've got
you're dealing with the law, but you've got to be. It's a
George Floyd. You know,
it's a catch-22 because the situation now, the beginning. If policemen jump on you, and they jump on you and control you, and just like that, they will say they thought you was a threat, so they jump on you. They thought you had something in your pocket, they jump on you. They should justify it.
Yeah. If they're just getting a beating because you're colored.
Yes, they're colored. But if they approach you the right way, say, excuse me, can I speak to you for a minute? I'm trying to ask some questions. That's the right way. Well, not everyone does that.
Correct.
Okay, so you
don't live in a fair world.
Yeah, you don't live in a fair world. So not everyone does that. So we always look at the beginning of something, the beginning, the middle, and the end. You know. But if you find a person, the guy is an arm dealer, or the guy sold drugs and got guns and like that, they want an ordinary man to go to arrest him. It says someone with special skill to go and deal with it. But then you got down the street, every day on the street. Some people abuse the situation or their power, and that's it. Unfortunately, that's how it is sometimes.
unfortunate world we live in.
Yeah.
Okay, a couple more viewers' questions, quick fire. Yes, no, quick answers.
Okay.
Can Wing Chun work in a real fight?
When you think Wing Chun can work in a real fight, depends on your ability. You can't get sometimes straight. You have to extend it to more because your ability, what you have nothing. You can't do. You have no ability to nothing. You can't get nothing. You can't do nothing.
Okay.
All right. So when you say can Wing Chun work in a real fight, it depends on your ability.
Good. Can Wing Chun be used in a fighting competition?
When you can do it in a fighting competition to a certain extent, but bear in mind that if the person tells you, guess what, you're going to have boxing gloves, yeah, and you can't kick low, and you can't use elbows, and you can't press for your fingers, you have to look at a lot of stuff what Wing Chun uses. You can't grab. So therefore, the competition is not favourable to your side really. It's favourable to the person who fights that way. Yes. So therefore, it'd be real hard for a person to go in competition. Even myself, I experienced it a long time ago, many years ago when I was young. Went inside the competition with boxing gloves. I do Wing Chun. I didn't know what to do, and then I realised that, guess what? I've got an unboxing to do that sort of fight. But you tell me an empty hand, you come to my class, and I said, let's just spar. I'll spar you with empty hands. I'm not going to put no gloves on, because I do Wing Chun with no gloves. Yeah?
Next question. Should students and ego, this is about students and practicing with each other. Obviously, students can't get past the teacher, so they practice with each other.
Yes.
Should students ever harm each other, or hurt each other, or fight each other?
Not at all. They should be in harmony with each other, practice each other. Your student, your classmate, is not your enemy. So, if you hurt each other, we will say, that person's your enemy. Why do you never control? Why you want to knock him down for? And you knock him down, your classmate, who you can practice with next day. Nobody practice with no more, because you're your bully. Yeah. The idea is you don't hurt your classmate. Yeah. Anybody outside who tries to interfere with you, you can hurt them or control them. But your classmate, no, you practice in harmony. So even my guys who practice, they all can fight quite well. But I don't teach you guys to fight each other. I teach you to work with each other and practice each other. But if someone comes to interfere with you, you don't know, you can deal with situations to the best of your ability.
Insightful. Have you ever had a lot of experience with your students ever harming or hurting each other?
No, because the way I teach them, you have to have the right mindset. If I find you're a fighter, you're no control, I'm not going to show you no techniques first. Because you can hurt somebody. I have to know your character, know how you are with people, and before I teach you. Okay? But if I find, example, you might show someone some Wing Chun or some martial arts, they start to spar, and they get out of hand. They get aggressive because that one touched him, and that one touched him, or you touched me, and we end up fighting each other. Then it's not really production no more. It's literally two people fighting now, and to their best ability. Anyone can get hurt. Therefore, you're not practicing no more. You're literally fighting. So I try not to. The way I teach is to practice in a good structure, practicing. But if someone comes in and want to test, and you control, and you have to hit them because they want to hit you back, that's a different ball game. Yeah. Now, if someone comes with control and harmony, and you practice each other, you say that's good practice. But you'd be surprised. I mean, many people come to test you. Their first thing in their mind is to touch you because they want to practice their technique. Regardless, they know one technique or two technique, they want to touch you. But they can't touch you, and you touch them back, they get frustrated. They start doing suicide movements. They start doing movements where it's not controlled because you touched them. Therefore, it's jumping to ego now. So you've got to be really careful. Yeah, the person is fighting by ego now because you touched him. Maybe in his class, he was really good and bullying people and doing many techniques. Then you play with someone who can't get through. Especially if someone smaller than him, and the person you can't get through, he will say, "Oh, I can't get through." He might get frustrated because he said, "I'm a big guy, I should be getting through to you." But he doesn't know the difference between technical and fighting. So people can fight. When you've got technical fighting, it's two different things.
Excellent. SIfu Louison, it's been an absolute pleasure. I think we've come more or less to the end of the session. Okay. Any closing comments, any final thoughts from yourself?
Very important to people, they must know the difference between what's demonstration, what's real, and how to practice. When you go to learn martial arts, to any school, you want to know how to practice first before you can do it for real. But if you go to a martial arts school to fight, and you have no technique, you're just fighting by what you know, by the anger, and that's what you can do. Not a skill. You know? And the teacher will be a skilled person. if he knows his stuff really well. Okay? If he's not a school person, you can see the difference anyway. But if he's a school person, it'd be very hard to penetrate him. Okay? So it's very important that people, when they go and look at martial arts, most important thing, when they go into martial arts school, they shouldn't come out with a broken nose, bruised black eye, a sprained leg or thing like that, because you're going to learn something. If you're getting damaged in your school, you're not really learning nothing at all.
Says a lot about the school.
Yes. Yeah. The idea is you learn technique in the school to use when you go outside the school. It's someone to interfere with you, and that's it really. And most important thing, when you're practicing with each other, enjoy it. It's like a game. You know, martial art is really skillful art form. But you got skills, you can play with someone with skills. But you ain't got no skill, you get frustrated, and you're just rushing like a mad person, like a wild ball. And the person have no choice to hit you back because he realises the control now. Yeah? So it's very important, my guys, when they practice Wing Chun, to enjoy themselves, be in harmony with each other, and don't try to fight each other. Practice with each other in harmony, and you improve each other, because even though you hit me, I'll say good hit, I couldn't stop it. Then I will learn to counter it, and vice versa. That's how you improve.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Thank you personally for your many years of experience and for sharing those thoughts with us. Thanks to Gil for the filming, and thanks mostly to the viewers and customers who supplied all the questions.
Yeah.
It's been a lot of fun, a lot of experience. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Okay, no problem.